Charles S. Kettles was born on January 9, 1930, in a small town in Michigan. Growing up during the Great Depression, he learned the values of hard work and resilience from an early age. After graduating from high school, Kettles enlisted in the Army in 1946, serving in the Army Air Forces during the immediate post-World War II period. His passion for aviation led him to pursue a career as a pilot, and he quickly demonstrated his capabilities and leadership skills. He transitioned to the Army's helicopter operations as the military began to recognize the importance of air mobility. He became proficient in flying various helicopters, including the UH-1 Iroquois, commonly known as the Huey. By the time the Vietnam War escalated, Kettles had established himself as an accomplished pilot, eventually being promoted to the rank of lieutenant colonel. In 1967, Kettles was assigned to the 176th Assault Helicopter Company, which was part of the 14th Aviation Battalion. The Vietnam War was in full swing, and US forces were engaged in various combat operations throughout the country. On May 15, 1967, Kettles and his company were tasked with a critical mission in the Dong Tri area, where US troops were conducting operations to combat the North Vietnamese Army, NVA. The situation in Dong Tri quickly turned dire. As US ground forces engaged the enemy, they found themselves outnumbered and surrounded by the NVA troops. Communication was difficult, and the soldiers on the ground were in desperate need of support. Kettles received a call for assistance, and without hesitation he prepared to fly into the hot zone. Kettles and his crew were briefed on the situation. The ground troops were pinned down and taking heavy fire from well-fortified NVA positions. The urgency of the mission weighed heavily on Kettles, but he remained calm and focused. He knew that time was of the essence, and every moment that delayed could mean more casualties. As they approached the battlefield, the landscape became a chaotic scene of gunfire and explosions. Kettles skillfully maneuvered his helicopter to avoid enemy fire while maintaining a steady course towards the soldiers in need. The sound of rotor blades cutting through the air was drowned out by the cacophony of the battle. But Kettles' training kicked in. He was determined to reach the trapped soldiers and bring them back to safety. Upon reaching the landing zone, Kettles and his crew faced a barrage of enemy fire. The ground troops were in full view, desperately waving their arms and signaling for help. Kettles made the critical decision to land the helicopter in a clear area, knowing that he would be exposing his crew to danger. With courage and quick thinking, he brought the helicopter down in the midst of chaos. As the helicopter touched down, Kettles and his crew quickly assessed the situation. The trapped soldiers were rushing towards the aircraft, and Kettles yelled for them to hurry. The NVA fire intensified, and Kettles felt the heat of the bullets whizzing past him. Despite the perilous circumstances, he remained composed, focusing on the task at hand. Kettles and his crew managed to load a number of soldiers onto the helicopter, but the situation was fluid, and they knew they couldn't stay long. As the last of the soldiers climbed aboard, Kettles took off, soaring into the sky, narrowly avoiding enemy fire as he ascended. He flew the rescued soldiers to safety, but he knew that others were still stranded on the ground. After safely delivering the first group, he returned to his crew. Determination sat in his eyes. He had to go back. Returning to the battlefield, Kettles faced the same relentless enemy fire. The helicopter was exposed, but he felt a profound responsibility to those still in danger. Landing for a second time, he quickly assessed the situation. The urgency was palpable, as soldiers scrambled towards the helicopter, urging one another to move faster. Kettles and his crew worked tirelessly, loading as many soldiers as they could. During the extraction, Kettles was informed by the last helicopter that all personnel were on board and departed the landing zone accordingly. Army gunships supporting the evacuation also departed the area. After delivering the second group, he was advised that 8 troops had been unable to reach the evacuation helicopters due to the intense fire. With complete disregard for his own safety, Kettles passed the lead to another helicopter and returned to the landing zone to rescue the remaining troops. Without gunship artillery or tactical aircraft support, the enemy concentrated all the firepower on his lone aircraft, which was immediately hit by a mortar round that damaged the tail boom and the main rotor blade and shattered both windshields and the chin bubble. His aircraft was further wrecked by small arms and machine gun fire. As he landed, Kettles called out, urging the soldiers to board quickly. The enemy fire was relentless, and he could see fear in the eyes of those rushing towards the helicopter. In a courageous act, Kettles noticed a soldier who had fallen and was unable to move. Without hesitation, he dashed to help, signaling to his crew to stay with the helicopter. Kettles hoisted the injured soldier onto his shoulder and made a sprint back to the aircraft. The risk was immense, but he was driven by an unwavering sense of duty. Once all 8 soldiers were aboard, Kettles took off once more, maneuvering the helicopter away from the danger zone while feeling the weight of the mission lift. The crew worked quickly to stabilize the aircraft. Meanwhile, Kettles remained focused on the mission, narrowly avoiding disaster as he took off once again. After safely returning the last group of soldiers, Kettles felt a profound sense of relief. He had completed an extraordinary mission, saving 40 soldiers amid overwhelming odds. The mission was not without cost, as several soldiers were injured and some lives were lost. But Kettles' efforts made significant impact on the outcome of the engagement. In the years that followed, he often reflected on those harrowing moments, emphasizing that while he was honored for his bravery, the real heroes were the ones who fought alongside him. Kettles' multiple trips into the battlefield exemplified not just individual heroism but also the spirit of brotherhood that defines military service. His actions that day exemplified not just courage but also leadership. He demonstrated an extraordinary ability to remain calm under pressure, inspiring his crew and the soldiers on the ground. His bravery did not go unnoticed. His fellow soldiers would later describe him as a beacon of hope amid the chaos of battle. For his extraordinary bravery and selfless actions during the Battle of Dongtre, Kettles was initially awarded the Distinguished Flying Cross and other honors. However, the highest recognition, the Medal of Honor, was not awarded to him until 2016. The delay in recognition was attributed to the bureaucratic challenges and the lengthy review processes involved in awarding such honors. The ceremony took place at the White House, attended by family, friends, and fellow veterans. The recognition was bittersweet, as it came many years after his heroic actions. Kettles, now an elderly man, stood proudly, embodying the humility and dedication that had characterized his military career. During his acceptance speech, Kettles emphasized the collective efforts of the soldiers he served with, deflecting the praise onto his comrades. He spoke of the importance of teamwork in the military, highlighting that his actions were merely a reflection of the spirit of those around him. The tale of Lieutenant Colonel Charles S. Kettles is a testament to the extraordinary acts of heroism that defines military service. His willingness to risk everything for the lives of his comrades during the Vietnam War exemplifies the bravery and commitment of countless soldiers throughout history. Kettles' story reminds us of the sacrifices made by service members and the profound impact they have on the lives of others. Today, we honor heroes like Charles S. Kettles, whose lives and actions resonate deeply, reminding us of the values that unite us in times of both war and peace. Do tell us your opinion and do like, share and subscribe to our channel to enable us to share more such videos.